Welcome in, everybody. Dan McGuire here with Right at Home, and it's a privilege for me to be able to work alongside so many awesome individuals out there in the community. And one right at the top of the list with Edward Jones, Mr. Andy Carlson. Andy Carlson is by far one of the best realistic financial planners I've ever seen. I personally work with him, and I know many people that he works with, and they're all saying the same thing. So I wanted to introduce everybody to the great Andy Carlson from Edward Jones. Welcome in, Andy.
Oh, you're too kind, Dan. Thanks so much. Thanks for having me. Excited to be here, and I can say the same things about you.
Well, I appreciate it. Yeah, we try to get involved and do as much as we can. Tell us a little bit about how you got into the industry, Andy.
Yeah, thanks for asking. So I'm married almost 18 years this summer. We have 3 kids, and I've always had a passion for investments and finances ever since we've been married. I kind of went the route of trading commodities, traveling the world, dealing in copper and brass and aluminum trading, and really knew that my passion was in finances and investments and helping people plan and prepare for their future. So I'm in my 4th year now with Edward Jones, and it's been a blast so far. I look forward to the next decade or more.
Yeah, man, we all kind of start with interesting backgrounds. I know mine is completely off the grid of healthcare. I'm, more of a teacher in the golf community, and it's interesting the different things we pick up for our future careers within what we did in the past. So, learning the different things that you would never know that you would like, and I know that. Kind of sets, your goals and your visions of, what you want to do to influence and to help people and to feel successful. So today I just wanted to discuss with the current COVID-19, with the stock market doing what it's doing, with the economy doing what it's doing, what are some of the expectations that anybody who is investing can see and what are some of those trends, but then also what are some of the things that somebody who's thinking about investing might want to start looking into with you and Edward Jones?
Yeah, great question. So the first thing I'll say to that is to remind people that volatility is normal. Fluctuation is not loss. A better way to evaluate an investment portfolio's performance is by looking at it over a more meaningful period of time, 4 to 5 years, with 5 years usually being better. So that's number one. Number two, I'd say someone looking to get into investing is definitely aligned with someone who wants to understand what's important to you. That's the first and most important thing I do with my clients. I want to understand what's important to them. Once I realize what's important, I can work through our established process to build personalized strategies so they can reach their goals. And then partner together with you throughout your life to make sure that you stay on track. But yeah, going back to just these past few months, we've definitely seen some volatility due to the coronavirus. The stock markets hit their low points about the 3rd week of March. We've seen a pretty significant rebound since then, albeit today was in the red. But what I'm telling my clients is, rebalance is key. We're rebalancing accounts. And if we have money sitting on the sideline that's not earmarked for emergencies, it's like a giant sale right now, and it's a great opportunity to take advantage of.
That's probably the best way to look at it. I've never heard anybody talk about the investing, opportunities as a giant sale right now, because essentially you're exactly right. I know we've had discussions, and we've put in some extra funds that might have been sitting and not gaining, and moving some things around. So trying to balance out, it's not always about right now, trying to make that quick dollar on, something that's happening. We really have to have that balance. And then on another thing, what you said about understanding what your client's true need is. I know in sales and in marketing, that's a cliche, but in finance, it's a real world trait. If my goal is to make sure in 20 years my son has money for college, or I want to do an addition on the house, or I want to take a stab into buying some real estate for rental investment. It really depends on those 5, 10, 15, 20-year long-term goals to be able to create a strategy of investment. And I think when somebody who isn't investing, I don't think they think in those terms. They think of, okay, I have X amount of dollars and I want it to equal Y in so amount of time. And they don't really diversify their goals. One thing to diversify your funds, but I think we have to go through a training process on learning how to invest. I think the only way to do that is with an investing professional such as yourself, somebody who can plan those things. Then on the flip side of it, in the industry that I work in, I see so many different people struggle with paying for care that is required, whether it's in an assisted living setting, in their own home. You know, there's a lot of very expensive long-term care insurance policies, and those restrictions are going up, not down. It's getting harder and harder to get approved. So what are some of the products that maybe a family is thinking about helping their seniors or their elders to be able to have the money to get care they need? Do you have some products like that?
We do, and I'll kind of touch on real quick what you just mentioned, and then we'll talk into that. So here at Edward Jones, we're here for the serious long-term investor, and you're absolutely right. There's multiple goals that people can have. Maybe it's saving for retirement, saving for education, protection. We want to protect what we've built. What I tell my clients is I'm here to help manage, protect, and transfer your wealth. We're going to manage your portfolio. Yeah, okay, it looks like we're on track in a perfect world, but what if we have something happen? Because we know life's not perfect. We don't want our plan to get derailed. So we want to protect that, and we want to transfer it. We want to transfer it on to our heirs, to beneficiaries. So to kind of talk about that protection aspect and what we have many different insurance products that are geared towards helping folks, not only with life insurance, but also being able to afford some of those home care expenses, whether it's in-home, like Right at Home does, or whether it's in a nursing or skilled nursing facility. A lot of people don't realize that a lot has changed in that long-term care space. It used to be, you pay monthly, the rates can go up whenever the carriers feel that they need to raise them. And if you never use long-term care, you lose it. So a lot's changed. Now you can have a life insurance policy that you can tap into that death benefit early if needed to pay for long-term care. And if you don't need long-term care, statistics show 70% of us will, but if you don't, you still have a death benefit that's going to pay out to heirs. So there's a lot more flexibility.
Nice. I think people need to educate themselves by talking with somebody like yourself to understand options, because I know when I first started looking into investing some money, I thought it was very linear. You put money in, you are chancing it, and you're going to hopefully make some more money in the long term. I also knew that you can make more money if you invest more right away, but it was riskier. So understanding that risk tolerance was huge for us. But you throw in that curveball where somebody has a stroke, a heart attack, they become ill, or on the mental side of it, they have dementia, Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, Lewy body, some form of cognitive impairment. And then you're just derailed. So if you're not balanced prior to those possible issues, you're just going to have to react. And I talk about this all the time, and you're going to deplete whatever assets you have. And I see families go through that. I see them have to sometimes reverse their mortgages. I see them have to take out huge loans with high interest, and then their heirs are stuck with them, if they do pass on. It's a tough situation sometimes out there. So, I try to let everybody know, talk to a professional who has, your goals in mind, and actually have a tangible conversation with. It's not just something online that you read about. I always tell people, sit down, get in front of that individual so you can get to know them, and then you can earn their trust and they can earn your trust. So I think without that element, I think there's a big disconnect. And then in today's age with the COVID, we're having to do everything virtually. So it's teaching people how to get out there in a different way. But my hope is that we all can still influence education financially, medically, and we can actually get the things done and achieve the successes we all want to achieve. Speaking of that, I know I do a lot of community work, and I know you do too. You're involved with everything. I don't know how you do it. The general notion is you are everywhere. I don't think you sleep, even though you say you do. I don't think it happens.
Working on it.
You're working on it. But yeah, share with our viewers some of the different community aspects you're involved with.
Yeah, great. So this has been a little different these past 4 or 5 weeks. I told my wife I feel like some days I'm in an episode of Groundhog Day because we're used to our lives being so different and we're in a different place each night and I'm at an event or I'm coaching my kids' sports. And now I wake up and I go to the office and take care of my clients and come home and exercise with the kids and eat dinner and go to bed. And we rinse and repeat. But so some of the things I'm involved in and I'm looking forward to getting back to with the Upland Chamber of Commerce, the Rancho Cucamonga Chamber of Commerce. I'm an ambassador for both of those right now, and I'm actually going to be on the board of directors for the Upland Chamber starting this summer. Super excited for that. In addition to that, I coach my kids' sports through Upward Bound locally. We're involved in a couple of Awana programs through Water Life and Calvary Chapel that my wife and I kind of head up. So we try to keep pretty busy, but we're blessed. So it's been a little different time. It's been a nice time to recharge and get some organizational things done, around home. But we're ready for all this to be past us, that's for sure.
Oh, without a doubt. Well, thank you for being a part of the community the way you are. And just kind of thinking about it, there are some people out there who do have somebody who's managing their finances, or maybe it was kind of a hand-me-down through maybe their parents and they've just since taken it over, but they don't really follow it. They just kind of know it's there. What would you say to an individual who might have somebody planning their finances, but might not be really looking at it productively, and they just know it's there? And would you want to be able to educate those individuals?
Yeah, Dan, what I tell people is, listen, I'm not in the business of destroying existing relationships. If you've got someone, your buddy from college, that's managing your investments and moving them is going to create a rift between your friendship for the rest of your life, I don't want that. What I'm happy to do is take a look at your portfolio, take a look at what you're doing, just make sure that you're on the right track, and at the very least, offer you some tangible advice that you can take back to the person that you're working with and give to them. If it's something where Edward Jones and myself can, work with you going forward, we're happy to. There's no cost for portfolio reviews, consultations, to put together that retirement roadmap or plan. We don't charge for any of that. I'm happy to be a resource. So.
Well, that's awesome. And I know you do a lot of different presentations in your office, virtually. You're quite involved with a couple of groups that I'm involved with as well. So the education part that you do for people for free, I want to make that very clear. I remember when I was teaching golf professionally, I probably gave 80% of my lessons away, just because you want to share what you know. You want to share your wealth of knowledge to people in hopes that, you generate a relationship. And if they come on board after that, great. It's a win-win situation. That's what I think people find so nurturing about you, is you have a way of connecting. And it can get pretty tough in the financial world with trust. And so generating those relationships, it has been everything. And now I appreciate you for all of that. I know we had connected a few years back, and when the time came for me to trust my personal assets and my wife's assets for our whole family, there's only one person I could think of, and that was Andy Carlson. And so far it's been perfect. So I appreciate you. How does somebody get a hold of you, Andy, with all the different, financial guys out there, all the different entities? What's the best way for you?
Yeah, great question. So to kind of go back to when I first started, how most people got a hold of me was I took my kids out for the first year or two, knocking on doors 5 or 6 days a week for 6 to 8 hours a day. And that's how I built my business. And it was a lot of hard work. It was a lot of rejection. It was a lot of doors slammed. But kids saw daddy working hard and they saw him persevering. And nowadays, most of the clients that I bring on and get a hold of are referrals from existing clients, people I meet in the community, such as yourself. We're still fully operational here. We're just not meeting clients face-to-face right now. It's all over the phone or WebEx. Our office is located right on Foothill and Haven in Rancho Cucamonga in the Barton Plaza. Our office phone number is 909-477-8982. You can drop me an email at andy.carlson@edwardjones.com, or you can get a hold of Dan and have Dan message me, and I'll get back to you.
And I'd be more than happy to do that. Well, I appreciate you. I appreciate the families that you sent right at home's way. We're able to take care of them and make them feel good. And I wouldn't have been able to help that family if I didn't meet you. That, people don't really think about those little things that created such an impact for somebody. So, thank you for your time today, Andy. Thank you for what you do for our community. I appreciate you, and I know we're going to move forward in the future for a long, long time. And, hopefully that we have this long relationship where I'll have so much money because I invested with you. I can take care of my wife and my family. But, at the end of the day, I know everything we're doing now together is for the good of our goals and the good of our lives. So I appreciate you, Andy. Thank you.
Absolutely, and I'll give one last plug. I had been doing a coffee club once a month prior to this COVID happening, so I've taken a break the past couple months. We've been having it on usually the second Friday of each month from 9 to 10 here in my office. Going to be started again virtually because we don't know how long this is going to last. So the next one's going to be taking place next Friday, May 8th from 9 to 10 a.m. I'll post the links on my social media. I'll send it to Dan. So if any of you are interested in kind of connecting, it's a great time of networking. There's people from various professions, and I really try to spend a lot of that time giving a chance for those people to network and make relationships. You never know if Dan meets someone who Dan needs their services, or they have someone in mind. Like when my client came to mind that could no longer care for themselves at home, I thought of Dan. So that's going to be starting next Friday the 8th.
Thank you so much, Andy. I appreciate you, and I look forward to working together for a long, long time. Thank you, brother.
Appreciate you, Dan. Appreciate it right at home. Thank